Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose. And today we finally got a clear answer about Xbox and Bethesda exclusivity. They did hold a roundtable conference today where they talked to several different members of Bethesda, and right away, Phil Spencer answered what we all want to know. Yeah, that's right, we got an official answer on Xbox Bethesda exclusivity. He also later on gave us a pretty big hint on Starfield and whether or not it'll be exclusive. Yeah, to put it short, Xbox just got a lot more enticing, and we're going to talk all about that today and exactly what Phil Spencer meant by what he said. There's really not much left to speculate on here, but yeah, this is huge news. Now, we also have a new event to talk about today that really the entire game industry should be paying attention to, so stick around for that as well. First though, let's go over some of the quick news, starting off with Resident Evil Village. Of course, Resident Evil Village is one of the most highly anticipated games for 2021. I know I'm extremely excited for this game, and it's right around the corner. It releases on May 7th, so we're almost there. The thing is, several people may have received an email where they got an early invitation to play Resident Evil Village. And well, that all sounds nice and everything, but this is actually a phishing scam, and Capcom is now notifying the community to not click on that email, don't download anything, and delete it immediately. It unfortunately is not real. They are not giving early access to anybody. This is something that scammers do to steal users' data. This can be anything from credit card numbers to passwords. It's just a scam that's meant to look real to access sensitive information that users hold. So if you do get this particular email, delete it immediately and move on. I know we all want to play Resident Evil Village, myself included, but it's only a few short months away, and if you have a PS5, you can go try out the demo Maiden, which is kind of an introduction to the villains and its world. It's not an overly long demo, but I played it and it really is good. I think with Resident Evil Village, you actually feel like you're being hunted by something intelligent, and they seem to play with their victims just a little bit. That's a very ominous feeling. I can definitely see this one being scary, and I have a lot of confidence in this particular game, especially after the last few games have been nothing short of amazing. Resident Evil 7 and pretty much all of the remakes I really enjoyed a lot. Moving on, we got an update for the hidden gem Supraland. Now, if you haven't played or heard about this game, do yourself a favor and check this game out. This is a great Metroidvania type game. The developers kind of explain it as a mix of Zelda, Metroid, and Portal. That's quite the combination, but I think it lives up to those names. This really is a good game that sadly just goes under the radar. The good news though is that the developer announced on Steam that it has officially reached 600,000 unique players, which is fantastic for a game like this. It hasn't gotten much marketing, and really it's lived off word of mouth and its reputation. Again, I would definitely recommend this game, but if you have already played it, they did talk about what's next for Supraland. It does sound like they have some big plans. They're releasing a standalone game, Supraland 6 Inches Under, and it's planned for this year. We still don't have an official release date just yet, but they did say it will not be in Q1 or Q2. So we'll see this release sometime in the second half of the year. 6 Inches Under is what they're saying is Supraland 1.5. It was originally meant to be DLC, but really it turned into its own game as they just had much bigger plans for it. They did, however, say that Supraland 2 is in full pre-production, so fans of this game has a lot to look forward to. Now, if you haven't played this game, it is available on PC, the Nintendo Switch, Xbox, Xbox Game Pass, and the PlayStation 4. Its Metacritic score is an 85 on PC and then an 82 on Xbox. Yeah, this is a good game, so definitely go check it out. And real quick before we get into the big news, I do want to highlight a Nintendo eShop sale that's going on right now that has some really good games at a discounted price. With it being Mario Day yesterday, there are a few Mario related games up for discount, including Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Party, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Mario Tennis. Nintendo rarely has their games cheaper than $60, so here's a good chance to pick these games up for a discounted price. Square Enix is also doing a spring sale over on the eShop where you can pick up several of the classic Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest games. Even Trials of Mana and Romancing Saga has a nice discount as of this moment. If you don't have these games on the Switch, you might want to go check it out over on the Nintendo eShop as soon as you're finished up with this video. Next up, let's talk about an upcoming digital event, and this one is from Square Enix. Yeah, they revealed they have a digital direct type of an event planned for next week on March 18th. This will be Square Enix Presents, and right away, they announced this event will premiere the next Life is Strange game. Now, this will not be developed by Dontnod from my understanding, which were the original creators of Life is Strange. From what I'm hearing, this will instead come from Deck 9, which worked on Before the Storm. So they do have some experience with the Life is Strange franchise, so that does make sense. But I think if you're a Life is Strange fan, this event is already off to a really good start, but they are featuring several other games. It's a 40-minute showcase and features Outriders, Marvel's Avengers, Tomb Raider's 25th anniversary, a new Square Enix Montreal game, Just Cause Mobile, and Balan Wonderworld. That's quite a lineup of games right there, and definitely some games to look forward to. I love the Tomb Raider franchise personally, so I'm glad to see it will get some kind of a reveal on the 18th. I do imagine this will be the leaked trilogy that supposedly will be releasing on the 18th. So we might see a shadow drop here, though I'm really hoping it gets some kind of next generation features. If the leak on the Microsoft Store was true, and it's basically just a bundled trilogy, then that leaves a lot to desire, but we'll see about all that. It's a pretty lengthy event though, being 40 minutes long. Maybe possibly they have a surprise in store, though it doesn't sound like it. I wouldn't count on that happening, but I find it interesting that they didn't mention games like Neo: The World Ends With You. That game releases sometime this summer, and it would be really nice to get an update on that particular game. There's also Final Fantasy 16, but considering it was not in the featured game list, and it's probably a long ways away from releasing, it's probably not going to be there either. I know that's disappointing and everything, but if you are a fan of Life is Strange or Tomb Raider, maybe it's worth tuning in. Let's move on to the big news though, and this really is huge. We have now speculated about Xbox Bethesda exclusives for about a half a year. It's kind of hard to believe it's been that long, but here we are, and we finally got a clear and concise answer, and I'm going to read exactly what Phil Spencer said when talking about Bethesda exclusivity, so here it is. I listened to the podcast and all the questions, so I'm going to try to be as clear as I can, because that's what I just think it's fair. So obviously I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive, because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's community of players. We love those communities and will continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists, and that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building, and the creative capability we will be able to bring to market for our Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been for Xbox after we're done here. So there it is absolutely official. This entire acquisition is not simply for Xbox Game Pass games. It is about exclusives and being on places that have access to Xbox Game Pass, and eventually pretty much all Bethesda games will be exclusive to Xbox. As of right now, they will release certain games on other platforms that either already exist on there, such as Fallout 76 or Elder Scrolls Online. And then you have games that have contractual obligations, such as Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo for the PS5. Also, possibly Indiana Jones. We don't really know what type of contract that game is under, so we'll have to wait and see on all that. Outside of those games though, more than likely upcoming games will be Xbox exclusive. The only place where he leaves the door open even slightly is when he says something about legacy on other platforms, but again, he emphasized that this acquisition was about exclusives. It's more likely than not that upcoming games will be exclusive to Xbox and PC. Games like Starfield, which is a new IP, is absolutely a game that is an easy candidate to be an Xbox exclusive. More than likely, Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, the next Doom, and any other game that releases years from now will be exclusive to Xbox and PC. I think the only time you might see something multi-platform is when a game is already under contractual obligations, and then maybe if a game is so far in development to the point they already worked on a PS5 version, and then they might just go ahead and let it release on the PS5 for that reason alone. Even then, that is still very debatable. This statement is pretty clear though. Bethesda games eventually will pretty much all be exclusive in the future, and this is absolutely huge for Xbox. These are incredibly well-known gaming IP and some of the biggest RPGs to ever exist, and they will more than likely be exclusive to Xbox. All that criticism of Xbox not having exclusive games kind of goes out the window now. Without a doubt, they have the IP to be a real threat in the game industry now. When you pair IP like Halo, Fable, Forza, Gears, Rare's legacy IP, The Elder Scrolls, Doom, and Fallout, this is a massive lineup of games and has huge potential of selling consoles and subscriptions alike. Now, talking about Starfield a moment ago, Phil Spencer responded to Paris on Twitter saying he nailed Xbox plans in a video. Now, when you listen to what Paris said, he very specifically said that single-player games like Starfield is highly doubtful to show up on the PS5. Multiplayer games maybe not, and games that are far in development, but specifically single-player games like Starfield will be Xbox exclusive. He just couldn't imagine them releasing them on the PS5, and considering Phil Spencer said he nailed Xbox's plans, well yeah, Starfield is likely not coming to the PS5. That is a big tease on their upcoming plans for Bethesda games. Phil Spencer himself pretty much co-signed what Paris said. One other thing that they announced today though was Bethesda games coming to Xbox Game Pass tomorrow. Now we talked about this earlier in the week as they did tease this prior, and we speculated on what they would release this week. Well, they broke my expectations by far. I thought that they would possibly release maybe 4 or 5 Bethesda games into Game Pass, like The Evil Within and Prey, but they really outdid themselves here. They're not waiting at all to integrate Bethesda with Xbox Game Pass. This was a key component of the acquisition, and they're now bringing 20 Bethesda games to Xbox Game Pass tomorrow. I will put a picture on the screen here, but that is a lot of really good games coming to Xbox Game Pass. This really isn't an amazing time for Xbox. I've said it countless times on this channel, but the future of Xbox is very bright, and if you still can't see that even after today, I just don't know what to say. This isn't a repeat of the Xbox One where they messed up with the price and power of the console right out of the gate. The messaging for the Xbox One at launch was just absolutely atrocious, and it just kind of followed them around for the rest of the generation. It also didn't help that they didn't have very many studios to work with. This time though, if you look at things, they have 23 studios, they have great PR, the Xbox Series is a very powerful and capable machine, and they have Xbox Game Pass. I think we're seeing a new Xbox this time around, and I expect them to be much more competitive this time, and that's healthy for the entire game industry. Xbox's biggest competitor, PlayStation, will continue to make amazing games. I love PlayStation games myself, and this type of competition will drive them to be even better. So as a gamer, and I always say this, I just want to play good games. I don't care what platform, I just want good games. And I truly believe that with this generation, fans of all platforms will have a lot to look forward to. On to the poll of the day though, I asked you, the community, on whether or not Starfield will come to the PS5. Now keep in mind that I scheduled this poll before Phil Spencer mentioned anything about exclusivity, but 73% of you said that no, Starfield will not come to the PS5. And after today, the 73% of you that said no looks to be correct. That's rather lucky for Yoru, who said he would eat a sheet of paper if Starfield releases on the PS5. Now, I will hold you to that. I'll keep that one in mind. Now, we still need confirmation, as there is no guarantee here, but it definitely seems like it will be an Xbox exclusive, so Yoru is looking pretty good here on his claim of eating paper. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Also, if you'd like to support the channel through Patreon, thank you for making this content possible. Peace out.